Okay, she be going every single night. Day and night on my mind, pushing you to vibe.
How's it going, everybody? This is Tyler Driver. I hope you're having another great day, and welcome back to another video. Alright, so there's a major controversy that's going on in the NFL right now that's threatening to overshadow the start of this upcoming season next month, and that's the situation with Deshaun Watson. This has been happening since the very end of the 2020 season and during the 2021 offseason, and it's been continuing for such a long time now. Nearly a year and a half in, this drama involving all of his allegations of sexual assault, along with his situation with the Cleveland Browns, has not come to an end since, and unfortunately this week things have really come to an unfortunate head, and so I thought I would share this time to talk a little bit about this situation. So in today's video, I'm going to be explaining about the situation involving quarterback Deshaun Watson and his situation in the NFL, how this all started, how it got to this point, and what I think about this situation as a whole, because this upcoming season in the NFL, I think it has the tendency to become really one of the biggest ones in recent memory, and unfortunately I do feel that this one is going to threaten to overshadow the whole entire thing. So for those that don't know, Deshaun Watson is probably one of the best young quarterbacks to be in the NFL for quite some time. At least prior to 2021, he had proven to be one of the top QBs to play in this league in the modern era. He currently has the second highest passer efficiency rating in the history of this league, and of course he's also a national champion himself. He won the national championship in college football back in the 2016 season when he won it with the Clemson, which of course led to him being the 12th overall pick in the 2017 NFL draft the very next season for the Houston Texans. While there, he made his debut in 2017. However, his season was short-lived because of an ACL tear that he suffered during practice, but he came back in 2018 and pulled off an incredible season. He led the Houston Texans all the way to the playoffs that season. 2019 was also a good season, though it did not go the same way as it did that year, but 2020 proved to be one of his best seasons yet. Despite a pretty tough year that year for the Houston Texans, Deshaun Watson was able to get another career high in passing yards. He led the league in passing yards, and as a result, he also got a good amount of stats when it came to his rushing yards, and he had become one of the top mobile quarterbacks in the NFL that season. Unfortunately, at the end of that season, that was when all the drama began. During the offseason, Deshaun Watson has been having quite a bit of issues with the front office management at the Houston Texans. You know, he had been complaining about his contract status and, more importantly, not being paid enough, and unfortunately, that had been straining relations between him and the Houston Texans as an organization. And Houston was trying as much as they can to try to be able to resolve the situation so that way they can keep him here and keep them as his star quarterback. Unfortunately, whatever was going on, it did not get any better, because during that offseason, around March of 2021, Deshaun Watson requested for trade. Unfortunately, he decided that the relationship between him and the Houston Texans has started to become really irreparable, and as a result, he just wanted out there. But that ended up leading to a pretty major battle that would take place throughout the course of the year, in which Houston would deliberately refuse to trade him as a result of everything that has been going on. So, you know, he wanted out of that franchise. However, Houston, they were not willing to let him go. Unfortunately, that would then be overshadowed by what would happen next, because during around that time, that was when allegations of misconduct would begin to occur involving Deshaun Watson. Now, what has been happening was that there were a couple women that first came out during that time that said that he had assaulted them and harassed them while they were giving him massages. Now, these were trained therapists that he was assaulting. These were guys that were responsible for, you know, giving them massages, making sure that their body's okay and all of that stuff, and they're alleging that he had assaulted them at that time. And then during that time, it would continue to increase. There would be a slightly few more women that would come out later that year, and by the time the very next year rolled around, we had hit around 22 women that would end up filing a lawsuit against Deshaun Watson by attorney Tony Busby. So unfortunately, this situation got ugly very, very fast. As a result of everything that was going on at that point, Deshaun Watson did not play at all in 2021. The Houston Texans would mainly stick with rookie Davis Mills as their QB. In fact, Mills is probably probably going to be the starting QB again this season. And so as a result, Watson sat out the entire season. No injury, something like that. It was because of all the controversy that was going on between his relationship with the front office, along with all the allegations that was going on against him. Ultimately, after a contracted battle that took place between Houston and Deshaun for a year, things finally came to a head earlier this year when the Texans decided that they were going to trade Deshaun Watson to the Cleveland Browns, and ultimately he would become their star quarterback over there in Cleveland. And of course, he was replacing Baker Mayfield, who is now over with the Carolina Panthers, who is trying to become the new star QB there over Sam Darnold. And I'm sure that things were getting a little messy there in Carolina, but that's completely for a whole nother story. But Cleveland is the one that we're focusing on. But Cleveland, they were completely unaware of all the stuff that was going on with Deshaun Watson at the time. They were willing to take that risk, knowing that there was a possibility that he could end up being suspended. And then while that was all going on, the New York Times would release investigation results earlier this year revealing that there were more women that he had been around during the massage area in Houston than it was initially reported. I believe it was almost like around, 60 plus women or something like that. That's quite a bit of women. I don't know if any of the other ones outside those 22 ended up being harassed or assaulted by Watson, but if they were, that was a major problem. But at the same time, during that time, both of the investigations that had taken place with the FBI involving Watson, they were dismissed because there was a lack of evidence that was going on as a result of that. Ultimately, one by one, most of the lawsuits would be settled before the NFL would make its decision in regards to what would happen with Watson. And so many of the women were able to settle their suits with Watson, and I believe there's only one that he has not settled a lawsuit with yet. So we'll see how that one goes. But the NFLPA said that whatever the NFL decided in regards to what they were going to do with Watson, they were going to stay out of this and they were going to let this play out all by itself. The NFL, they were seeking for a year-long suspension from the NFL for Deshaun Watson as a result of his allegations. And so really whatever was going to happen there, it was going to lead to a pretty messy situation for the league. And unfortunately, messy is exactly where we are at right now. Earlier this week, things finally came to a head when the NFL announced that Deshaun Watson would only be suspended for the first 6 games of the regular season instead of that whole season. And the NFL apparently did not like that. A lot of people also didn't like that as well. And although, Watson got out a little bit easy, unfortunately the NFL is working to reverse that. As of earlier this week, they have filed to get that indefinite suspension on Deshaun Watson for at least a whole year and also give him a monetary fine. In fact, he wasn't even fined at all as a result of that investigation. So they are looking to add that. And so as of right now, this is a battle that is continuing between the NFL and Deshaun Watson, and it looks like this is not going to end for quite some time. Now, in regards to what I think is the situation, this is probably one of the most dramatic situations that I think I've seen the NFL off the field in quite some time. Let's talk about Deshaun Watson for a moment. Prior to 2021, he was seen as probably one of the best QBs in the league. He had a very bright future ahead of him. He's done a lot of good things off the field, in regards to charity and community work and all that stuff. And he was all around such a very popular and a very nice player. Deshaun Watson had really started to come to his own as a really good guy, not just as a player, but also as a person. Unfortunately, once those allegations started popping up, a lot of people's opinions on him started to change. Unfortunately, many people found Watson to be a little bit of a traitor now because, he said that he had done a lot of great things and he had been doing a lot of great things, but then once these allegations started to pop up, unfortunately, many people started thinking of him differently, and many of them started to think that Deshaun Watson is not the same guy that they all thought he was. And so obviously, a lot of fans that were supportive of him ended up turning away from him. Of course, he still has a pretty large fan base because he is a pretty good QB, obviously. And now he faces a really uncertain future as a result of what has been going on. There's a possibility that although he was suspended the first 6 games of the season, which obviously may be good for him, it may end up being reversed for indefinite suspension for the entire season if the NFL does get its way. I mean, I really don't know exactly how this is going to turn out, but obviously this is a very messy situation that Deshaun Watson has got himself in, and a large part of that is on his own doing. First off, the allegations with him involving a therapist at the spa that he was at when he was with the Houston Texans. 22 women that filed lawsuits against him. That is a lot of allegations, and really that's a suspicious sign that he may have some sort of culpability in this. I mean, it's one thing to be a guy that does everything he can to become the best QB in person that he can be, but at the same time, when you're hiding all of this, and most of this ends up turning out to be true, then hey, you're really hurting your image. And unfortunately, I feel like Deshaun Watson did that with all of these allegations. I don't know if all of them are real or not, but obviously the fact that there was that many women in the first place, and add that slightly more on that when you involve the New York Times investigation, Deshaun Watson has really done a whole lot of image damage as a result of this situation, and a lot of it is not good. So yeah, obviously he's got a very uncertain future right now. You know, obviously we don't know if he's going to play the whole season. We don't know if it's just going to be those 6 games. We really do not know. But the thing is that once he gets out of this, the thing that's going to happen to him next, you know, is what is he going to do? How is he going to try to be able to repair his image and try to become a better QB and also a better person? I really do not know that. I don't think there are a whole lot of options for Deshaun Watson to do that. And so whatever happens between now and the time the NFL's appeal comes to an end, we will see exactly what happens. I still believe Deshaun Watson has a long-term future in the NFL, but it's really going to have to be settled first in regards to what happens in this situation, because I don't know how this is going to end. And then there's the situation with the NFL. Obviously now, this is a situation that they did not want to be in. You know, Deshaun Watson, they were working to get him a whole year suspension because of all the women that accused him of misconduct while he was with the Houston Texans. Now, here's the thing that I need to point out though. The FBI, along with another department down in Texas, they had dismissed both of their investigations against him, largely because there was little or insufficient evidence to be able to prosecute Deshaun Watson as a result of those allegations. In my opinion, I really feel like that may have played a role in this. You know, I think that because, you know, like the FBI struggled to find evidence in regards to these allegations, I really feel like that was what played a role in the NFL's decision to give him that light suspension and, you know, even not fine him at all. But, you know, I kind of find that to be rather strange, because there are other players in this week that ended up getting far worse for other situations than the one that Deshaun Watson got himself into. Let's talk about Calvin Ridley. You know, obviously he was one of the best wide receivers in the league. He was betting quite a bit during the last year, you know, betting on a whole lot of games, especially some that he got played in as well. He ended up getting suspended for the entirety of the 2022 season. So literally, he's going to be at home on the bench for the entire season. Deshaun Watson, he gets accused by 22 women of misconduct, which is actually far worse than legal sports betting, and he ends up only getting 6 games. I mean, I really don't know. Don't you think that there's a little bit of an offset here that goes on in this situation? I mean, I kind of find it very weird. So yeah, the fact that, you know, like a wide receiver can get a year-long suspension as a result of betting, while one guy can only get let off with 6 games as a result of misconduct allegations against him, yeah, I kind of feel like that is a little bit of an embarrassment with the NFL. And, you know, obviously I think that's the reason why that they are trying to file this appeal. I really feel like they want to get that favorable outcome to Deshaun Watson, get him that 1-year suspension, so that way they can teach him, you know, exactly what happens when you do all this stuff off the field. You know, try to teach him a lesson and how to become a better person as a result. But prosecutors didn't see it that way, and so the NFL, they are basically trying whatever they can now to ensure that he gets that suspension themselves. And this isn't the first time the NFL has been caught in this situation. You know, let's take a look back in 2014 with Ray Rice. You know, he was a star running back when he was with the Baltimore Ravens. He was caught on video beating up his girlfriend while he was in the elevator of a hotel. And unfortunately, he got suspended for the entirety of the season as a result of that. And ultimately, he ended up being released from the Baltimore Ravens. And because of that, he was never seen in the NFL again as a result of what happened there. You know, that was a situation in which the NFL actually handled well. This is a situation, though, that's led to the exact opposite. And, you know, there are a lot of things to be excited about in regards to this upcoming season. You know, 2022 is expected once again to be better than the 2021 season. A lot of new faces once again, a lot of switches as well, a lot of old guys coming back. There's the possibility that 2022 could be one of the best seasons in NFL history. Unfortunately, this situation threatens to overshadow that. And I really do feel like the NFL needs to get a situation under control very, very soon. Because if they don't, this is a situation that's going to haunt them for the rest of the season, and unfortunately, it is going to threaten to overshadow the entirety of the 2022 NFL season. Time will tell what happens next. We'll see exactly what the NFL does. Maybe they get that 1-year suspension, but still, this is a messy situation that they did not want to get themselves into, and it doesn't look like it's going to be resolved anytime soon. So yeah, Deshaun Watson, like I said, he's probably one of the best young QBs in the league. You know, he's still got a bright future in my opinion, and I feel like that he still has a chance to pull off a comeback and succeed in this league. But unfortunately, this is a situation that was premeditated by his actions from when he was with the Houston Texans, unfortunately, and it has all led to this point right now. So I mean, I'm hoping that he can come back, and I'm hoping that he can find a way to have a solid season whenever his suspension does end, whether it stays at 6 games or if it ends up as a whole year suspension. So whether or not he comes back later this year or next season in 2023, hopefully he can find a way to pull off a successful comeback. And hopefully the NFL does get past this situation too, and we can go on and have a great season of football, and hopefully have another fantastic year of hard-hitting action up there, because this is a situation that threatens to undo the whole entire thing. And so hopefully we have another great year on our hands, but again, this situation threatens to overshadow it. And so hopefully the NFL and Deshaun Watson gets this situation under control very soon. So yeah, that's just my take on this. I know this is a situation that's really overshadowed everything else in the NFL right now, so I want to hear exactly from you. What do you think in regards to this situation? Do you feel like that Deshaun Watson can have a great comeback whenever he does come back? What do you think about the NFL's handling of this situation? And more importantly, what do you think about this whole situation as a whole? Feel free to let me know down in the comments. I'll be more than interested in hearing your opinions about it. Anyways, that's going to do it for another video. I hope you all enjoyed it. As always, if you'd like to see more of my content, be sure to subscribe and hit the notification bell so you know when my latest video is released. Comment below for future suggestions for all my videos, whether it's vlogs, projects, or challenges, you name it. Leave it in the comments below and I'll do my best to make them. As always, follow me on my social media. All the links are in the description below. That's going to do it for another video. Hope you're having another great day. As always, I hope to see all of you again in another video very soon. So long, everybody.